When a storm was rolling in and sirens blared, the last thing we expected was to find our nosy HOA president hiding in our shelter, spying on us. What she didn't know, Grandpa doesn't tolerate trespassers, especially not during a tornado warning. It started on a stormy Friday evening. The sky turned a menacing shade of green, and sirens echoed across our small town in Oklahoma. My family and I rushed toward the storm shelter behind our house. The one Grandpa built himself after a tornado took out half the neighborhood years ago. As we yanked open the heavy metal door, we heard something movement inside. Confused, we cautiously descended the stairs. And there she was, Mrs. Dalton, the HOA president. The same woman who fined us for having non-regulation flowers and complained about the height of our mailbox. She was sitting on a folding chair in the corner, holding a clipboard, not a flashlight, not an emergency kit. A clipboard. "Mrs. Dalton, what are you doing in here?" my dad asked, stunned. I was doing a routine check, making sure no one was misusing community resources," she stammered. "This is private property," Grandpa growled. This shelter isn't part of the HOA." "Never has been," Mrs. Dalton huffed, clearly caught. "Well, I had reason to believe you were storing prohibited items." That's when it clicked. She had broken into our storm shelter to spy on us during a tornado warning. My little brother started crying, not because of a storm, but because a stranger was in our safe place. Grandpa's face turned red, but he didn't yell. He simply walked up the stairs, turned the key, locked the door, and pulled out his phone. "Sheriff," he said calmly. "Yeah, I've got a trespasser here on my property, broke into our storm shelter, and scared my grandkids." Mrs. Dalton pounded on the door from the inside, her shrill voice echoing, "You can't lock me in. I'm the HOA president." But Grandpa just sat on a lawn chair under the stormy sky, watching the clouds roll while waiting for the sheriff. "Oh, you wanted to act like this was your territory? Well, now you're part of the emergency protocol." 20 minutes later, sirens still wailed, and the sheriff showed up. When they opened the door, Mrs. Dalton stormed out like a wet cat, humiliated and furious. The sheriff didn't laugh, but his smirk said it all. "Ma'am, you're lucky they didn't press charges. Stay off their property, or next time we won't be so nice." Mrs. Dalton hasn't bothered us since. No more fines, no more spying. And every time it storms, Grandpa just smiles and checks the lock just in case. Some storms come from the sky, others come wearing a clipboard and a fake sense.